it's like such a new kind of entertainment, like a real style of reality show with that addition of TTS and meanness and brutality.
Do you think he'll keep stepping it up every year? Do you think, like, as it becomes more and more successful, like, will next season? Because what I want to see isn't a crueler show. It's more production value and more structure. Like I want to see. I don't want to feel like it's like, hey, what do you want to do to him today? I don't know. Let's send a Billy Goat in. We're saving the goat for the last day. What are you thinking? No, we don't send the Billy Goat in.
Do you know what's going to happen to that goat when Bert meets it?
I didn't mean to fuck the goat. It happened. Like that's didn't mean to bird off. Yeah, the way it's worked in the first 3 seasons now is, if anything, it's gotten a little less intense. Like where they're going easy. Like that's a big criticism that a lot of the fans are having this season, is they're like, oh, they're coddling too many of the contestants. They're coddling them. And it's like, yeah, maybe compared to like season 2, where it was like, all right, we're doing the cell challenge. All 9 of you stay in this room. No bathroom breaks, no nothing. There's a bucket in the sliding door closet to shit and piss in. And how long can you survive in here while doing wacky challenges? Like at the end of that one in season 2, the winner was like openly weeping, like he'd won a war, where he was like, it's over because of how horrid it was. And so now, like, it almost seems like what you're saying, where they are trying to mitigate it more and make it more, because you can't go crazy hell house constantly.
About that, what do you get for winning?
50,000.
No. That particular cell challenge. Did you get 50 grand for that?
Oh, I think that. So like 50K is the end goal, but like there's a bunch of challenges with monetary payments throughout the way. So I think maybe they got $10,000 for winning that cell challenge specifically. Yeah. And then they do stuff like fish bucks, where it's like, hey, Josie, 5 fish bucks, which is $500. Like 5 fish bucks if you go piss all over John's Bible that he brought. And then she'll be like, okay, like I'll go do this.
I'd have done it for less.
Yeah. I asked because like that guy is damaged at the end of winning that, right? Emotionally exhausted. I don't know what. The Ultimate Fighter. This was a MMA show that Dana White had on. And I remember one of their challenges was this. One guy stood like sort of solid, and the other guy climbed around him. And like I don't know how to describe it, but like, I'd start like Baby Bjorn, go to your back, go to your front. That's 1 revolution. We're doing this as many revolutions as we can. And by the time these guys circled the other person like 74 times, they're both wrecked. One's all clawed up, his skin, he's exhausted. He's had another man using his thighs and his hips and his shoulders for like grips and footholds. And then of course the guy doing the actual climbing around, he's exhausted too. Both of them are ruined. They can hardly train, but they did 73 revolutions, and they're like, they started with a shirt on. That shit's all ripped and torn to shreds and gone, and they're just ruined. And then the next team climbs up. They just slide down and say never mind. and they're like, so the victor got choosing your opponent, and they're like, I'll take either one of those fucks. They're ruined. It was a good strategy. So it made me ask, like, what is this worth it?
Yeah. If anything, like the production steps in to protect people like Bert sometimes. Like this just happened maybe yesterday or something, where they brought in some new guy, this like really big Persian motherfucker, and they told him to like make content, like be entertaining, like just like they told everyone who came in. And that guy like identified Bert as like the most mentally unstable, easiest person to make content out of. And so he was like bullying Bert in a mean way, like getting in his face, trying to agitate him. And literally everyone on production came up like out of the basement where they produce and was like, the fuck are you doing? Like, are you retarded? Do you realize that like Bert's actually autistic? Do you think you're like winning fans by actively bullying a guy with mental disorders? And Bert is like in the background this whole time, just the most wide-eyed, like, staring at random stuff. Like he's not even engaged in the conversation. He's just like gibbering as he's doing it. And they're like, look at this guy. You think he's like, you think you're like winning people by bullying him? Like the reason people like him is because he's endearing. And so you're really not gaining any fans by bullying this guy. Do you see that? So if you come at Bert again, we're going to fuck you up. And this guy was like, oh, you're going to take me? He was drunk. He was like, oh, so he's a big guy. He's, I could take all 4 of you. And Jet's like, really? Because in the boxing challenge last night, you couldn't take one guy. You lost to one guy in the boxing challenge last night. You're gonna take all of us?
To? Who beat him?
He lost to us. The guy who walked in on Bert going, oh, Jesus Christmas.
Oh, okay.
They boxed. Yeah.
That guy was no joke also.
Yeah, that guy was no joke. That guy beat the shit out of him. And so he just like, that Persian guy turned his attention from that guy who beat him up towards Bert and was just going at him way too hard, agitating. And you can't just let that happen. And so they do come up all the time. And sometimes Bert will get too exasperated and they'll literally say like, hey, Bert, bedroom 3, text-to-speech is off. Take a chill pill, take a nap. Nobody's going to bother you. You need anything, you let us know. And so they do stuff like that, which they don't do for any other contestant, obviously, because there's no other contestant that has his mental disability.
Okay.
Very entertaining. It's the most wild, out of left field reality show of all time. It's addicting because you'll watch the live stream and nothing will happen for an hour. And then something will happen and shit will kick off. And Bert will be like screaming at some girl contestant because he perceives something she said as like anti-gay or whatever, because he's
Where
a very
are they filming?
like, proud gay
what
man.
State are they in?
I think they're in Massachusetts or Delaware, somewhere in the Northeast. I don't actually know where. It's like a $1.5 million mansion. It's like a big place they're filming.
That's so opposite of what would make sense to me. Like I'd want to be in like Texas or Tennessee with the cheapest place possible.
I think they did that for season 1 and they changed it up. It's better this season with the mansion.
Why
like
is the mansion better? Because I would imagine having them in like a chicken farm would be good.
It's just I guess it's better for the vibe, because there would be no way to sell to these people that they were on a Hulu show called Famous House unless they were in a mansion. That's why all of them bought into. I don't know if Caleb knows the way these people were lied.
That's great.
The way these people were lied into this show is they told them you're going to be on a Hulu program called Famous House, where it's like Hulu's attempt to compete with Big Brother, where a bunch of people who want to be famous are going to be in a house and you compete. And then at the very end, the winner becomes the protege of Jason Gold, who is Sam Hyde dressed like Bam Margera. And that's the premise.
It's insane.
It's hysterical. It's so fucking funny. I like when I see novel, unique stuff like this actually succeed instead of just going by the wayside. Like it's the funniest reality show I've ever seen. And it's actually real. Like there's no editing. There's no nothing. You see everything.
I want an edited version. I'd like to see them turn it into a show that would fit my style of watching content.
Yeah. Like they had showrunners and a bunch of producers and time before it aired. So that'd be interesting.
Post show, they do YouTube uploads of more Big Brother style like episodes for the whole season. And
let me ask you this, because I don't watch. Do they do like is there any concept where they vote for like who needs to be out of the house or who needs to be punished?
But it's total horse shit, because sometimes they will just change votes.
Oh,
like one contestant today, this random girl who was like kind of not making good content, being a bit boring. She found an immunity idol. She found like one of those things from Survive. They hide random stuff and notes around the house. A lot of them are just like schizo notes to try and hurt. And so they'll hide notes and like idols around the house. And this girl found an idol and she showed production and she was like, I found this. And Vance was like, that's an immunity idol. Keep that in your bag. Don't let anyone steal that. And literally 10, 15 minutes later, Vance, the production, came back in and he goes, hey, this is all on me. I understand if you're mad. That's not an immunity idol. That's an elimination idol. please pack your things and go immediately.
No.
And she was like, wait, what? And he's like, it's an elimination idol. I need you to go. and so this girl just at like 2 p.m. on a Wednesday is like packing her shit, and the other contestants are like, what happened? And she's like, I don't know. I found an elimination idol. Like, I don't know what to do with this information. And so it's flying by the seat of their pants, which is part of why it's endearing.
I get that. And if that's the magic to it, then they should keep it. But to me, I need some structure. I need to know that at the end of every episode, we're going to have a vote. At the beginning of episode, there's going to be this initial challenge that's going to be physical, followed by like whatever, and then there'll be a second challenge that'll be more mental or gamesmanship. Like, I do like the Survivor formula if there is one there. I just don't like how I think Survivor is too heavily programmed, like too heavily scripted, which is, I want more of that for Fishtank. I think, but you can't go too far or you completely lose me. If it's not that authenticity of having somebody birding off is huge. Like that to me is so weird and wild.
I wonder if they have enough contestants to do like a champion show and all stars. A Fishtank all stars.
They could do that, but part of the issue with it is like a lot of the humor comes from people who don't know what's going on being put in that scenario. And so it's happened a couple times this season where they cast new people to come in and be freeloaders. And like one guy came in and within like 20 minutes, because they take your phone when you come in because you're not allowed any outside contact. They brought this guy in. They had his phone downstairs. His phone started blowing up with messages about Fishtank. And so they literally bought him a ticket on a flight home, like immediately. They were like, all right, Braden, welcome to the house. Went downstairs, saw that he knew about the show, and were like, Braden, you've been eliminated. Like, he didn't even meet other contestants. And so like a huge amount of it is just seeing how people respond to it, not knowing. And so it's a difficult thing to
in that
make
interest,
sure nobody
in that interest, I almost want to recruit from immigrants or something. Like I want some guy who's in the US for the summer and like barely he's here to learn English from Slovakia or some shit. Like I want that guy. I really like the idea of a motley crew, like
a fish out of water, dude.
I want some older people too. Like imagine if there was a 55-year-old man in there who didn't want to take.
There's a 60-year-old black woman in there right now.
Are you kidding?
Really?
Me?
Yeah, they brought her in. Her name's Star, and I like her. Star is funny. She's like the mom of the house.
I would bring in a homeless person.
They've done
there'd be a prize for determining who the homeless person was. Like there's a secret. It'd be like a mini game called Secret Hobo. Like, if you could find the hobo by the end, you get some Burt bucks or whatever they're doing. Burt, that's what they should do. Next season, if Burt wins, he should come back as like a challenge rather than a contestant, and you could win some Burt bucks if you like cohabitate with Burt. Like, all right, there are 2 rooms in the new house. There are 18 contestants. 17 of you will be sleeping in room number A, and 1 of you will be sharing room number B with Burt. There's 1 bed, 1 bathroom, 1 towel.
Dude,
it's not luck, this one, but Frank Hassel, as much as I think he is a force for... Remember how I said if Mr. Beast was removed from the world would get a little bit worse? I feel the opposite way about Frank Hassel.
Oh, no. Frank's a good boy. He's just goofing around.
He's not. He's a terrorist. But he's really good at this. He's good for the show, too.
What's funny with Frank is he will harass the shit out of someone on the show. And then as soon as the show's Mizzy was this girl who was on the show who was taking a huge amount of shit, and she did the thing that like ends up garnering you a huge amount of respect and approval from the fan base afterward, which is she was one of those like, yeah, just rain it on me, go fuck yourself, like indignant. And after the show, she and Frank did like a call, like a stream together, and he's just the most normal, nice guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, I really got you when I poured all that stuff all over your suitcase and I wouldn't move. And she's like, oh, yeah, that really bothered me. And then, and he'll say like, yeah, something that bothered me is how you stabbed me in the lower back twice with a pen. And she's like, well, it wasn't a full pen. It was like a felt pen. And He's like, no, like you stabbed me. And she's like, yeah, well, that's how it goes. And he's like, yeah, 100%. I accept that. Like I was fucking with you. I always expect people to fuck with me back. And I was really impressed by how resilient you were. Like, it was interesting to see Frank totally out of character and just being like, damn, I was really harassing you. You were ballsy. You pushed back. You fought back. You harassed me as hard as I harassed you. You literally hurt me more than I hurt you physically by stabbing me. Like, nothing but respect there. And she's also now like on the team of like, it's funny. And so it depends, I guess, interpersonally how you roll with it. Because from what I see, like, it's very normal for people to get the hell harassed out of them on Fishtank, especially by Frank, because Frank is the gauntlet. When Frank when Frank shows, and they're bringing Frank back again this season. When Frank shows up, it's like, all right, how are these guys going to handle this? And the people that get the most respect afterwards aren't the people who just like stoically take it and pretend it's not happening. They're the people that are like, no, Frank, you're a big, disgusting fucking monster, and I'm coming for you. Like, I'm going to ruin your stuff. I'm going to, anything you have in this house, I'm going to piss on it. He'll live there for like a 4-day stretch. And it's like a 4
I thought he was a character that dropped in like Sam Goldstein. I might have that wrong, but
no, Sam and Jet, like the producers, they'll come in every day. Frank is like literally like a gauntlet character they bring in the middle of every single season, because usually by that point the fish are like friends and they're now not really rivals. And so he comes in as a way to throw agitation in the mix and get people all fucked up. And then the people who survive his horse shit come out like hardened steel.
I don't think anyone could do that as well as Frank. Like, he's uniquely qualified for that job.
The tattoo, dude. When a girl harasses him, and have you seen his tattoo, Caleb? Do you know Frank Hassel?
I have not. No, I don't know much about this fella.
Can you bring up a picture of the funniest tattoo?
Frank Hassel is the guy. You may remember him.
I know that.
He's the one that went to Boogie's place.
Yep, that's what I know about him, and that's it.
He's very funny.
Oh, when you see his tattoo, your opinion of him will not get better.
Yeah, it's the funniest tattoo that's ever been inked. There's nothing
from the internet. I don't consider myself easily offended or shocked. I watch murder videos for fun. This tattoo, I was like, how could you?
Yeah.
It's like
ditto all that.
It's the perfect confluence of like a depiction of an event, but also the total trivialization of it through cartoon people. This is his back piece.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
That's him.
That's him.
Hassel.
That's Frank Hassel. And so like in the middle of the show, like people on text to speech will say stuff like, show him the tattoo. And you can tell production and Frank are all like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're going to ruin the reveal. The best way that it got revealed was this season where he was actively fighting, like throwing stuff, not physically punching or anything, but everyone's throwing like food fighting at each other. And then some girl like grabs the back of his shirt and just rip, trying to harass him. And then he's just like barely got a string of his shirt on and he's turning around and you can see the girls in the back go like, just like shocked at what they're seeing.
That's so fucking funny.
A 9/11 tattoo with beheaded cartoon people jumping to their death.
That's
that's so funny.
Big shout out
I saw
to
that
Frank clip.
Hassel.
That was the first fish tank clip I saw from this season. Was that one? That's how I knew that they were back in business, because I just saw people fighting, on like public freakout Reddit or something, and then the shirt getting ripped, and I was like, "That's Frank fucking Hassel. I know that tattoo anywhere." That's because there's only one. There's only one.
Like,
that would be.
I thought you're gonna head to the comments. The guy said something like, maybe Kyle will correct me, like, I don't know the background on this, but I'm pretty sure he's the bad guy in this situation. Yeah. It was something close to that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, the comment said something like, I could tell who the instigator was in this just from the tattoo or something. Yeah. It's the worst tattoo I've ever seen. Like, Steve-O tried to make like silly, awful tattoos. Dude, amateur. Frank Hassel is the master.
The absolute master.
The fact that it goes from like neck to ass crack adds something.
That's crazy.
And the way he's just walking around shirtless with a 9/11 tattoo, and he's like 6'5", and he always is smoking a cigarette in the house, and so he'll just walk up to contestants and be like, "Why are you acting so bothered? Like, what's the deal?" just like right in their face, upsetting them. And then like that gets repaid in kind because they hand out cigarettes to everyone. And so like girls will be smoking cigarettes and then just go like with a hot ember and put it out on him.
They put cigarettes out on him?
And he'll just like, he doesn't respond to any pain he feels on the show. No. He'll get stabbed. He'll get cigarettes put out on him. Like he genuinely takes it worse than he gives it.
Yeah, you don't get that reference, do you?
I get it. Yeah, mostly. He is like.
I
he's
think
like
they did put out a cigar on the Terminator's chest. That's Al's reference.
But Taylor doesn't know.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's pretty funny because like Frank is this huge guy, and then Sam will come in and he's even bigger than Frank, and Sam is also like Sam wears like boots with lifts with a giant top hat. And so he's like he's just the biggest guy in the world, just like marching into these people who are like nutrient deprived.
Hilarious that a guy who's 6'5" wears lifts in his shoes.
Oh yeah, he'll like he's like made clips before. He's like, yeah, I'm 6'5", but I identify as 6'9", and so and then just wears giant boots and harasses people. It's like such a new kind of entertainment.